This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
It's the best of the Morning X, and we apologize in advance. 99X.
And we're doing our show from New York in about a week and a half at the Radio and Television Museum. Mm-hmm. And they've already called ahead, knowing we're coming, to bring our interview from yesterday with Tom Clancy. Yeah. They're gonna enshrine it there as one of the top interviews of all time.
Yeah. It's already people are talking,
on his side.
People are talking Marconi Award.
Oh yeah,
which
absolutely.
It's like a big radio award.
Now, Clancy, we all had said in advance, none of us really read his books, although Rich's dad is a big fan, so we invited Rich's dad to join us.
But
he was our representation from the book reading part.
But we are all familiar with his work because
it wasn't like we didn't know who he was.
I mean, everybody has seen his movies, and everybody knows who he is, and you're familiar with his work.
Everyone has seen his movies and liked his movies.
For the most part.
I mean, it wasn't like this.
More people have probably seen his movies than have read his books.
It wasn't like we were having someone on that we hated.
Right.
We had no opinion of Tom Clancy. Right. None of us had ever met him.
Now, Kevin Rosen from 11 Alive, you're here, and you're a seasoned journalist. You ask questions to people all the time for a living. We're just, three dopey DJs. We want to run this interview back, and maybe you can give us pointers. Like
shed some light.
Maybe there's something here that we did as interviewers at the very beginning or whatever that we don't know that shut him down.
I'm getting the feeling I'm not going to be able to help here.
Well, the whole thing is only maybe 6 minutes. I mean, it was supposed to go on, I think, 8 or 9, and we cut it short after we kept falling short, and you'll hear it. I mean, he was not coming to play. Right. This is a man promoting his new book.
Yep.
Who is supposed to come off as a likable, salesman of his product.
Yeah, and Rich's dad is the other man on the phone who was very excited to finally talk to one of his literary heroes.
So check this out.
Let's welcome to the show, Tom Clancy.
Yes.
Hey, Tom.
Howdy.
Tom, you're on with Barnes and Jimmy and Rich, and also Rich's dad, Gary, who...
Like a crowd.
I know.
He's a big fan of yours.
Big fan of yours. What part of the country do you live in?
East Coast.
What city?
There are no cities where I live.
You just live in the middle of nowhere.
Can you tell,
cities?
New York? Where? What?
I live in Maryland. That's what my book covers.
What did we do so far?
10 seconds in.
What have we done so far?
There are no cities where I live?
There are no cities where I live.
Cover.
What kind of riddle is he speaking in?
You always expect an interviewee to at least play along a little bit. But right off the bat, there was no playing there.
No. Excuse me? Maryland, okay. I'm curious. You seem a little cloak and daggerish about that. Are you not comfortable with people knowing what part of the country you live in?
Well, there are some security issues I do worry about.
Kevin, are you aware of security issues, national security issues with Tom Clancy? I'm not.
Is he wanted? Is he a wanted man?
Is he a wanted man?
Not that I know of. I think it's time to go for the jugular.
He's an author.
He's an author.
Security issues.
Okay.
Really, because of the things you write in your books?
Oh, that's part of it.
Wow.
Okay. So, in the last threw me off there for a second. In the last movie, in Sum of All Fears, I know that in the book it was Arab terrorists, right? Who had the bomb, and when they made the movie, they changed it to Russian. And I'm wondering how that sat with you, or if you had a problem with that.
When you do business with Hollywood, the studio is the guy with all the money. And since they have all the money, they make all the rules. It's that simple.
Okay.
Right. Well, certainly you must have an opinion. They're taking your work, right? Your craft.
If you want to be a big boy about it, you just roll with the punch.
You just take the check and cash it.
You may grumble a little bit, but you don't jump up and down and scream because it just wouldn't be very mature of you.
But wouldn't it be protecting your art form or your writing, though?
Well, when they pay a couple $1 million for the rights to the book, you give away the rights.
Well, as an author who has movies made of his books, do you mind? I mean, a lot of people who read books are always complaining, well, the movie was nothing like the book. And as an author, are you saying that most authors really don't care as much?
Not a question of not caring. It's a question of understanding what the situation is. They have the money. They bought. When you sell the rights to your book, you're giving them the right to interpret it the way they choose.
Well, which adaptation of your book do you like the best?
Well, I think Red October is the best.
Well, you've had 3 different guys play Jack Ryan. What, Harrison Ford, Alec Baldwin, and Ben Affleck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, which guy do you think most represents what you had in mind as Jack Ryan when you wrote the books?
None of the above. It's me. Jack Ryan's obviously me. But Ben Affleck did very well, I thought.
Mr. Schertenlieb, did you have a question for Tom Clancy?
Yeah, Tom. Well, first of all, thanks for all the hours that your great stories have filled in airports and hotel rooms and all that stuff for the middle-aged group here, and you're a great storyteller. One thing, Tom, I did want to ask, and this is kind of what the guys were talking about, in Patriot games, Tom, why did they change the character that Jack Ryan saved from, I guess it was the Prince of Wales in your book, to just another royal? Was there a reason that the studio did that?
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Okay, on the character for that was saved by Jack Ryan in Patriots game, the studio changed that from the Prince of Wales to some other royal. Was there a reason?
I don't know why they did that.
Okay. What is Red Rabbit? Is that a new book you have coming out? That's not a movie, right? It's a book.
You haven't noticed? I mean, it's been out since August the 5th.
No, Tom, I don't read, unfortunately.
Oh, my God. Why am I talking to you?
Well, because people read and listen to the show.
I was just wondering the same thing.
Yeah. I don't read because my attention span is about 30 seconds.
Right. But we're all familiar with your work.
But we're familiar with your work, and we see the movies, so we have a general idea of what you do. So is Red Rabbit already sold to be a movie as well?
Paramount has bought it, yes.
Do you like doing these interviews, Tom?
Not only get 6 hours of sleep, but aside from that, I enjoy it.
Yeah, because it's apparent that you really don't. I mean, it seems like you don't.
I'm an author. I'm talking to a guy who doesn't read. I mean, it's
yeah, but we know your work, and, you don't really want to.
Well, the questions we're asking you are
very valid questions.
I think are probably still questions about your work that most people can understand. I mean, or that you. I mean, are these questions that have nothing to do with your work or your property, or are these not valid questions?
Well, I suppose they're valid if they provide you with the information you need. But as a practical matter, I write books. I don't make movies.
Well, but so many people are familiar with your work through the movies, and so it's still valid discussion. Anyway, hey Tom, thanks for joining us.
Say again.
Thanks a lot for joining us. Thank you.
Okay, pleasure to see you guys.
Yeah, you have a good day, too.
All right, bye-bye.
What an asshole.
Okay. That goes to the archive.
Does he make more money from his books or his movies?
I mean, what?
Oh.
God, Peace. Hey, Mr. Schertenlieb, sorry to drag you through that.
Hey, that was great, guys.
That was a nice warm and fuzzy.
I got to tell you, that's not what I expected.
You know what? You know what? Tell me this man who is selling movies for millions of dollars doesn't realize he's on in a city of 4 million, 5 million almost, and he can't turn it on for 8 minutes. Now all of us will forever have this image of Tom Clancy.
Tom Clancy just being a yokel.
Being a total jerk-off.
You know what? I will still never read any of his books.
That's sorry, Mr. Schertenlieb. Sorry about that.
I mean, how do they get the guy to do
what's the
a radio tour? How do they get him to do it?
Now, this is a tour thing, right? He's got another call in another city.
He's doing 2 hours of radio phone calls.
I've got to get audio on that.
That's unbelievable.
I mean, seriously, was there anything that we said at the beginning?
Where do you live?
Was he maybe?
Yeah, he started private. It's private.
It's private.
We should have got him to start telling jokes.
Well, he wouldn't want to say
Tom?
the state.
I want security issues.
Where do you live? I can't tell you what state I live in.
Security
East Coast.
I tell you, he makes more money off his movies than he does off his books.
You bet your ass he does, and he can answer some questions about it, too.
Yeah, it goes to show you that people sometimes that can write eloquently can't really speak it.
Well, you know what, though? It's not about speaking. It's about being polite.
He was just,
You know what?
that guy, he's probably living in a big mansion with books piled to the ceiling, and he's in there by himself.
Yeah, the guy's a D-bag. I'm sorry.
That's weak.
Really, there was no excuse for that.
No.
Well, Dad, thanks for helping us out.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
No problem. Anytime I can help you extend another interview, let me know.
Yeah, I guess you could have listened on the radio and got the same effect out of that one.
Do you think he was maybe, like when we introduced him and explained that the reason...
No.
Because we're from the movie generation and our dad is the book. Was he... could he be offended by that?
No way. We're promoting him.
You know, if Stephen King was on here and we talked about a lot of his movies, he'd be cool. I just don't get it. You know,
I didn't picture that at all with Tom Clancy.
Either.
I didn't even... That totally surprises me.
You know what? He just shot to the top of the list.
We're all-time worst
interview list.
When we get asked who is your worst interview, it's always who has it been? It was Jason Patric.
Jason Patric,
Anthony
Ray
Michael
Liotta
Hall in studio.
This guy just set the bar
didn't
at a new level.
What a punch! The best of the Morning X. 99X.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
I've been doing this show for decades and decades and decades.
With rapid-fire takes.
Learn how to stop it, learn how to run it, or at least make a good argument. I don't even like to play. I've never fought so hard to defend something I don't like.
Scorching debates.
You can beef about anything you want. Why are you pushing me?
He's the Spitfire of sports smack.
Just so you all know, this is no one-off. This is what we're going to get every single day. Let's go, Jim! Let's go!
The Jim Rome Show podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.